thousands of people will be reunited on Monday when Queensland's border restrictions ease after months of hard closures. Let's go to Georgia Simpson live from Brisbane this morning. Georgia, it's 4 days, only slightly, but it is earlier than expected.
Pete, it was October when Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk first announced a roadmap to reopening the state's hard border closure, and the initial date she flagged was December 17, but she did give Queenslanders an extra incentive. She promised that the borders would reopen earlier if we reach that 80% vaccination target earlier, and that is exactly what has happened. We are more than 78% double dosed, and as a result, from 1 a.m. on Monday, you can arrive into Queensland by road or air from a hotspot for the first time in months and skip home and hotel quarantine. Of course, there are conditions. If we get up this graphic, you'll be able to see that you must have 2 doses of the vaccine, so be fully vaccinated, produce a negative COVID test within 72 hours of travel. It has to be a PCR test. You need to have a valid border pass. And then this is a new one. On day 5, you also need to go and have a COVID test, and of course it needs to be negative. So after months of hard border closures, thousands of people are expected to cross the border on Monday. Queensland's Police Commissioner Katarina Carroll has warned that traffic is going to be chaotic. There's going to be extensive delays. She has told people to plan ahead and to pack their patience. Pete?
And Georgia, the physical barriers won't be coming down until 90%. Do we know when that could be at this stage?
At this stage, Pete, it's still a little bit unknown. The state government has flagged sometime in January. However, our Health Minister, Yvette D'Ath, said yesterday that first doses has dropped off slightly, and she believes that uptake won't return until we see a surge of COVID cases in Queensland. She believes that COVID cases in Queensland will be what it takes for us to get to that 90% double dose rate.
Sadly, I do think once we start getting cases, we will see an uptake again. That's good news that we'll see an uptake in vaccinations. It's sad that we might have to wait for that to see a big surge, but I'm confident when our borders open at 1 a.m. next Monday and our social measures come in on the 17th of December, that the last few people who are still to get vaccinated will understand the importance of coming out and getting vaccinated quickly.
So while those physical barriers won't be coming down until we reach that 90% double dose rate, there is still some reprieve for people living in those border communities. They've done it especially tough over these past few months, being unable to see family and friends just a few hundred metres up the road. But yesterday, the Premier also announced that for people living in those border zones, if they are double vaccinated, then they can come into Queensland for whatever reason to visit a friend or to grab a coffee. It doesn't have to be considered an essential purpose like work or study. They just need a border pass, of course, and it's the same for Queenslanders wanting to do a day trip to Byron Bay, for example. They can travel into northern New South Wales, and provided they have a border pass and they don't leave that border zone, they can come back into Queensland without a negative PCR test. Pete?
Georgia Simpson, thank you.